Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And now that the holidays are over, there's been a month of solid eating and frenzy and decorating and family fun. What are we going to do? My guest, Alvean Lyons, our Healthy Families consultant, will give us some tips. Welcome.
Thanks, Robin.
It's hard, you know, it's like no matter how wonderful everything is, there's this huge letdown and you're tired. You know, it's been a huge month of activity.
First, we ate like crazy for Thanksgiving.
Oh, I just didn't stop. You know, to me, that's like a kickoff.
Right,
and
it's
I'm
the beginning
like,
of it all, right?
I'm off my diet. What's one
Until
more?
the New Year's,
yeah.
right.
And I'm too busy shopping and decorating to exercise.
For Christmas.
So it's been, you know, 4 weeks of anything goes.
It's true. It's true. And then we finally have to step back and be like, what have we done? So as we get ready to go into our new year, you know, it's the perfect opportunity to start thinking about what that's going to look like. And the one thing that we all know is that most of us are exhausted at this point. Yeah. Even though it's the holidays and people think, oh, I'm on vacation, I'll have some downtime. Quite frankly, it works exactly the opposite because we're so busy preparing for family. We're so busy making sure that we've taken care of everybody. Don't offend anybody by forgetting to send the appropriate Christmas card or gift and everything else that was in between. And you just hit this spot right after it all finally settles down, where it's like, what now?
There's all this adrenaline.
It's true.
And it's exciting and fun, and you don't realize how tired you are until after.
Absolutely. So we decided to pick an acronym that every one of us could really remember right about now, which is going to be REST. Because we all need some.
That's the
right
one
about
thing,
now.
Yes,
exactly.
Really to remember. Okay.
But it has lots of stuff that's stuffed into it in different kinds of ways than when you just hear the word. But what it provides for us when we learn what the acronym means is a different kind of balance as we go into our New Year's, and we're sort of planning that. Instead of doing the New Year's resolution, just a couple of things that if we tweak them a little bit could really add to the quality of our 2016. So let's start first with the R. We just came off of the holidays and we're talking about how much time we've spent with people. And a lot of times it's the one time of year that we actually invest in our relationships, but very often right after that ends, we go right back to business as usual and we're not plugging in with the people that we care about. So your first R is, or your first letter, is relationships. We need to make sure that in the busyness that's going on in our lives, with all of the social media, all of the work, all of the children's activities, everything in between, that at some point we are prioritizing the importance of investing in our relationships, the things that matter to us with the people that matter to us, that we don't have to wait until Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, Valentine's Day, those times that we tend to put emphasis on, and then we forget about all the time in between. So as we go into this particular year, let's make our relationships more of a priority. And it's easier to remember when you just came off of
right, because
that
you're
experience.
thinking, oh, I just reconnected with so-and-so at that Christmas party and it was so wonderful,
right.
Or I got the card from somebody. I need to pick up the phone and call them and see how they're doing.
It's true. And even when it comes to the relationships even in our own house, because when we're so busy during the school year, we're all parents, you know, you're doing so much that you don't even realize that you really haven't slowed down to even find out what's really going on with your kids.
Right,
you
right.
know,
And those of us who have kids away at college,
oh my gosh.
It's a little bit hard to keep up with them while they're away. And you need to, I hope to reconnect.
They need us just as much now as they needed us then, in different kinds of ways, but they still need us to be parents. So we still have to be a little bit annoying in terms of making sure that we make the phone call, that even we use the benefit of being able to use technology, send that text, hey, how are you feeling, how'd that exam go? You know, the small ways in which we remind them that we're still here. We're still part of your success team. So, you know, I know you're out of the house, but you still got parents. And kids need it even as they become young adults. And quite frankly, we're all adults and we still need our parents differently than we did when we were younger, but we still need them. So the parenting never stops. Just what it looks like may be a little bit different, but it never stops. So we have to remember that it's still important to be investing in those relationships both inside and outside. And quite frankly, a lot of the science and the research supports the fact that people live longer and have higher quality lives when they have relationships. They recover from illnesses even faster when they have quality relationships. So it's important that the things that really make a difference in our lives don't take a back seat to some of the things that aren't going to matter at all when we get older. So your first letter is your R, relationships,
Okay.
indeed. The second is that E, okay. exercise.
You always remind me about this one, Alvean.
Exercise. You have that little fit band on your wrist,
I know,
which
look
is
at
fantastic.
that. It's got a really low number right now.
We're sitting, it's okay. But it's true, like when we ate all of that, when we sat down a lot, when we laughed a lot, all of that stuff was good and it was wonderful. Don't get me wrong, there's a time for everything. But the reality is that a lot of those empty calories are gonna kick in. And as we get older, they kick in faster.
Oh, they do. And it's much harder to lose.
Oh, to get rid of weight.
Harder.
I was just fussing at my husband this morning about the fact he skipped dinner last night and lost 2.5 pounds this morning. That never happens to me. So we are different in terms of how our bodies are changing. And as women in particular, it becomes even more important for us to get out and get moving because the pounds will creep on. And there are lots of things that come with that weight.
Right.
And we don't want the other things that come with the weight.
No, it increases your risk for almost
kinds
anything.
of things.
All of the really bad
it's so
stuff.
true.
A lot of the cancers, heart disease, diabetes. I mean,
the list goes on and on. And the truth is that it's not about what size you are.
Yes.
It's about whether or not you are healthy. We all have different ideals. So we're not looking for a particular dress size or suit size. We're looking for optimal health for us individually. But that always includes, no matter who you are, you're gonna have to get moving. So we gotta exercise. So when you're returning those gifts that you didn't really want, park further away from the store. Walk a little bit more. Some of the benefits of having even those little fit bands is that it's letting you know how much movement is really going on.
Right.
How sedentary or active are we really? But exercise also releases endorphins in the brain. It's good for your moods. It's good for stress reducing. There are so many benefits to exercising, even in small ways. Walking the dog. I mean, just it adds to the quality of your life in beautiful ways. And quite frankly, yet again, as parents, the lower we are in terms of our stress levels, the higher the quality of our parenting is. So getting a chance to unwind from your day, the stress that may have been going on at work, break that up with a little bit of exercise. Let me get outside and walk. Let me walk and talk to the kids at the same time. There are lots of ways to integrate exercise into your life that actually improves the connections we have in our family. Go on a family walk.
Well, and I would say too, getting outside, being in nature, being in fresh air, breathing, those things are good too. It's a little harder in January and February when the weather may not cooperate.
Absolutely.
But when you can get outside, it's just double benefits from the exercise, from the fresh air.
Absolutely. And even if it's make the grocery trip a little bit longer. Walk around and just talk. Your motion is motion. Whether you're on a treadmill, whether you're on a trail, whether you're in a store, motion is motion. Your body benefits from all of it. So exercise. Don't make big deals out of it. You don't have to do a $2,000 gym membership. Just get moving. It benefits us a lot. And then S, savings. We've just spent a ton.
Speaking of things that have gotten a little out of control.
Out of control, okay? So we put lots of food in and we put lots of money out. They had an opposite relationship. So getting back to a place where we're saving again, thinking about that, setting a budget for your year. And it doesn't have to be the whole year. Sometimes you could just do it in chunks, setting a monthly goal. Hey, this month I want to save an extra $100 or an extra $500 or whatever it is based on what your family can handle. But a lot of times, unless we're conscious of something, we don't even realize what's going out. And when we're going through the holidays, we're so busy trying to prove how much we love everybody by spending so much, whether it's on the food that we prepared or the gifts that we bought. So much went out, and a lot of times we haven't sat down to take a look at what that really means for us.
Well, and first you have to get the credit cards in line. If you haven't, if you've let that go, do that first, and then start that savings plan.
Oh, that's absolutely true. And even if it's save a little and reduce the credit cards a bit, it's always important to have a little bit of liquid asset because you never know when there's going to be an emergency that's necessary. So doing a little bit of both can make a world of a difference. But you have to talk about those things. And sometimes that's a tough conversation to have.
Well, you do with your kids, with your spouse, with other people in the household. We can't go out to eat as much, but we're going to put that toward this, and this is why.
Absolutely, and we're on the same page because if you know as partners, if one of us is spending and the other one is trying to save, that's a whole nother level of conflict that can be created in a relationship, which adds to stress inside of a household. So it's really important that we are talking about those things together. And one of the things in building better relationships through healthy families, you learn how to have some of those tough conversations. So we really encourage encourage, partners and families that if it's not something that's easy for you, or it's just something you want to do better, let us be a part of helping to be the solution for that, because we can.
Well, and sometimes a class like that can help spark the conversations. Like,
Absolutely.
even if you think you can do it, but you might be putting it off,
Right.
it gets you going.
It does. It really does. And then finding out that you're not the only person who procrastinates on the tough conversations,
Yep.
and you're not the only person that has some challenges dealing with some of the things that we may have slight difference of opinion or even conflict over. So being able to be in an environment where you've got other positive couples that are also serious about how we do a better job together as a team and as a family, it's a really positive experience. So we always encourage people to get involved in what's available to them, because ultimately our goal is to strengthen the families.
Well, and as you've said before, if the parents are not a team, it's not going to work well when you roll
It's
it out
true.
to everybody else.
It's true. Whatever's going on at the top will trickle down to the bottom, that's for sure. And then finally, that T, time. Think about the things that are most important to you. Make a list of them, because we always do better on things that we can see. When you look at the top 3 things that matter to you, have you prioritized those things into your daily schedule or your weekly schedule or your monthly schedule? So if I say, for instance, being a great parent is important to me, have I made time to plug in with my kids? Have I made time to invest in opportunities for me to grow individually and then in turn grow for my family, which is why Healthy Families wants to help you do that, of course. But even if you don't come to our classes, making those things personal priorities are important, and it benefits every one of us. But seeing what it is that you say matters to you, really looking at that and then measuring that against how you're really spending your time, helps to create a level of honesty that sometimes we don't recognize. That I say I love this, I say that, faith is important to me, but I never do anything to support that. I say that reading's important to me, but I can't remember the last time I picked up a book. I say that spending time with my kids is important to me, but I can't remember the last time we just sat down and just talked about whatever they wanted to talk about. All of those things, whatever those priorities are, make sure they match the way that you're scheduling, so that when you look at your year in totality, you are doing the things that add for a quality year. You're investing in those relationships, you're getting that exercise in, you're saving differently, and you're investing your time in ways that have real benefits for you and your family.
That is a good checklist. And when you look at time, it ties into those first 3.
It's true.
Are you spending time with the relationships?
Right.
Are you making the time to exercise? It
It's true.
is. It's like the little charts and graphs on here.
Exactly.
If you can chart and graph your time and say, am I putting it where I want to put it?
Absolutely.
Am I allowing myself, for me it might be a hobby or some creative, things that I like to
Absolutely.
do that I always put off. It's easy to put off those things because there's something more pressing.
That we allow to be
Always.
more pressing.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I always have to, clean. Cleaning always needs to be done.
Right.
There's never a time when there isn't something that has to be done. But if you schedule in the things that are priorities, you can work it.
And quite frankly, not to be morbid, but when we all pass away, the last thing we need to see on our tombstone is her house was super clean.
Well-
It's just so unimportant. But was she a great mom? Was she a great friend? Was she always there for you? Was she a human being that contributed to the world? Those are the things that matter. So we need to live our lives so that those things can absolutely be true. So make year 2016 the best year you've ever had, but rest.
Rest. Okay. I've got it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I needed this message to get me through the beginning of the year.
Thanks.
Thanks, Alvean. And thank you for watching. I hope that you will take some time after the holidays and rest.